Hello again, friends. Ripple Rush has some new toys that we can play with, and many people are expecting an update to the Ripple Rush deck list. Well, I released the update about a month ago on my blog, but since it's one of maybe 4 posts this year, I wouldn't be surprised if people haven't seen it. Here are the primary changes along with how the deck has shifted in focus. While I'm speaking about the new and improved Ripple Rush, feel free to enjoy this cringy, awful gameplay video in the background where my awful, terrible opponent heals 3 times, hits 6 offensive critical triggers, swings into rear guards, and can't get anywhere near my level of card advantage, nor can he stop my offensive power, even when sacking beyond any and all logical comprehension with his drive checks. All while I struggle along with no title assaults the entire game until it's too late for one to matter. But back to the deck list. The changes are that we're cutting older, more obsolete cards for more units in the Ripple Archetype, or units that are strictly better than their predecessors, such as Mission Messenger Goal Soldier over Accelerated Command, as Goal Soldier gives 1000 more on entry and has 1000 higher base power. We're running even fewer Grade 3s than before, as they are far from necessary, and locking the opponent out of Stride and Legion is a valuable tactic that did not exist when Ripple Rush 2.0 came out. We've increased the number of Sentinels, switching them all over to Quintet Walls as well. The first major change in strategy is that we aren't playing the deck like a normal deck that simply has skewed ratios for rushing while using the ride chain to still ride up most of the time. This deck is now fully switching over to the keep yourself at 2 to prevent Legion and Stride tactic. When this deck was first conceived, there was no advantage to not riding to Grade 3, so this deck was built around riding to Grade 3 more games than not. Again, this is no longer the game plan. The second major change is that we now have enough toolboxing to make Pavroth extremely consistent. While the starter for the right chain is now a preference-only pick and can be removed, if we do keep it in, it increases our odds to expect yourself to have the 1 and 2 in Soul nearly every game levels of consistent. Like, I don't know the exact numbers because I haven't done the math yet, but I'm betting it's somewhere in the ballpark of like 95%, maybe even higher. This gives us that added layer of defense with an 8k defense grade 1 or 10k defense grade 2 ride most games and can secure many, many positive things for us, both with early guarding and with higher offensive pressure from our attacks. The third major change is the lowering of Grade 3s in the deck list. With G-Assist being a mechanic, this deck providing an abundance of options to fill the field without needing to call from hand, and being able to convert units on the board to Grade 2s with bonus power, we have everything we need to remove the non-3s from our deck with Odysseus and Turtle, while having ample time to draw into a Grade 3, or even excess cards to G-Assist with if we absolutely do need to hit that Grade 3. The fourth major change is the addition of Quintet Walls over Perfect Guards. This is primarily a change that was made because the game has shifted to everything having massive Vanguard row power at the expense of being locked out of that power if your opponent stays at Grade 2. With only 6 cards in the deck that don't have shield value when they hit the Guardian Circle from the deck, one of which has to be used to activate the top 5 search, Quintet Walls will easily take care of all of our guarding needs for 1 less card from hand than a Perfect Guard. These cards are also our only out to expend counterblasts unless you somehow manage to Persona Blast with only 2 Genovius in your deck. The final major change is that the deck thinning mechanics are out of this world. We can grab Grade 2s straight from our deck with Odysseus, and 1s or 2s with Turtle. We can move Turtle to Soul, ride Pavroth, grab Turtle, and get another unit from deck. We can rinse and repeat this indefinitely to thin the deck of 5 to 6 non-triggers on the average game, if that's the focus that we want to take. This can increase our odds to hit game-ending critical triggers by a substantial amount, making a final turn push when we ride Genovius, pitch 2 to Stride, and swing into our opponent with an extremely thinned-out deck full of triggers with triple drive. This is a scary situation for our opponent, who likely didn't expect a Grade 3 and especially a triple drive to come out of nowhere and blast them in the face. The deck will still play the same, barring holding off on riding to Grade 3 until you're ready to end the game. It just has additional plays with Odysseus to secure rides, fix your field, power up your title assaults, and plus with Turtle Soldier. There are a few tips and tricks that can also be used with the deck, if you keep your options open. If you have your other Genovius in the deck the turn you ride to Grade 3, if you did not Stride, you can use Odysseus to ride it and force it out of your deck, as checking your 1-up Grade 3 would make you feel really, really bad. You can also call over that Genovius to send it to the drop zone to enable Medu spam plays on subsequent turns. You could even use that Medu spam play to bring it back to your hand to hold on to it for a limit break push if your opponent is at 5 damage, and if you think that that will cause more pressure than simply striding that turn. With Grade 2s being searchable and fieldable directly from your deck with Odysseus, it's typically a good idea to hold on to an excess Grade 2 that you aren't planning on using, especially over your excess Grade 1s. Excess or late game Turtle Soldiers are probably the best overall choice for this. It is a nice security measure for when you attempt to end the game by striding, as any non-zero card that you draw will allow you to stride if you discard it along with your other Grade 2 that you kept in your hand. If you missed the grade 1 ride, moving Alex back is a lifesaver. It is a body on the board, can help make numbers in some cases, and is your go-to target for shoving right back into Soul with Odysseus, making it essentially as if you landed the chain but missed the top 7 search. While this video didn't get to showcase it, Tidal Assault moving into and out of Soul with Odysseus to make him 11k for turn is the primary focus of this entire deck. You attack with your side row, attack with Pavroth. If Pavroth hits, you stay on the side row. If he doesn't hit, Tidal is still extremely likely to either be forcing 2 cards from their hand or forcing them to take a damage check. You pass all of your triggers to Tidal, just like in previous versions, only this time he's extremely consistent as an 11k body. Don't forget that Levis is also a ripple too. Sometimes games run terribly long, like this one, and you run out of Pavroths in your deck. There are times when pushing your Tidal up to 11k is worth losing the body and on-hitability of Pavroth, especially late in the game if you haven't seen Genovius and your opponent is at 5 damage. Levis will still be forcing the same amount of shield as Pavroth. The unhittability won't matter at that point, and while 19k Rose will be a weakness against archetypical decks, many decks aren't running 12k beaters anymore. The lack of defense may not be that crippling. Then again, it also might be. It's just a case-by-case judgment that you're going to have to make on a game-to-game basis. Using Goal Soldier to give Pavroth extra power against a grade 2 Vanguard is an extremely legitimate tactic. If they can't get away with a 1-to-pass with a 10k shield, they will very often either burn a Null Guard or let the attack go through completely. Both of these are extremely good for us, especially that early in the game. You can also swing with a 9k attacker, either Levis, Pavroth, or a turtle that's been boosted by the effect of Odysseus, with a 7k booster behind it, making sure that the first swing is completely unboosted. When they restand, they will be 12k attackers, 15k in Levis's case, and they will have a 7k boost bringing them up to 19k, which is perfect against grade 2s, or 22k in Levis's case. In closing, I apologize for the Cringefest video. People complain that I have gameplay videos showcasing a deck in its absolute best case scenarios every single time. Other people complain that I only fight the absolute worst opponents, something which I can't always help. I mean, it's card fight area. I do showcase good hands and hitting triggers so that people get accurate ideas of the true strategy and focus of a deck. This time I decided to go with an awful opening hand where I barely hit any triggers, I don't see my Tidal Assaults, and my opponent is hitting triggers left and right. And left. And then I still destroy them because this deck is literally so stupidly powerful that it can supersede a bad player getting extremely lucky, something that hasn't been factual in Vanguard since around the set 11 to set 12 time frame. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good one.